If we think about how we live our life, I can see um, analogy of how we learn swimming or surfing, for example, or any art or sports. You may listen to other people explaining what the situation is, the model, concept, pattern, how it can be worked out, and you repeatedly practice, and then you are thrown out to the reality of surfing on the board in the ocean or swimming in the pond or whatever. So in a way you can think that the process of achieving certain skill is a combined effort of the concept and practice in different model, pattern, and eventually you have to put those things into action. So it takes lots of time and energy and be able to synthesize all different models in action. And I think Charlie Munger talks about the investment, or perhaps anything in life, is that if you have more different models that you can synthesize, you can adjust to the situation and come up with the optimum solution, what to do. So it could be investment, like I said, could be sports, art, how to live. So when it comes to the spiritual arena, let's think about meditation. You can do the meditation just sitting, some posture and position, so physical structure, and then mentally, internally, how you may, of course, breathe or not use your mind. And it's not easy. So you have to go through it over and over. And the trick there that we should know is that the process of learning maybe even 1% improvement every trial over time, exponentially, or if you accumulate like the experience curve, instead of the forgetting curve going down exponentially, we can accumulate and become part of your whole being. It's not just the conceptual, but also the application, different patterns. And this pattern has to be adjusted to, like in the case of martial art, depending on their skill, their strategy, you need to respond. And the life is almost exactly like that. So that's the reason why the Zen, for example, go through how to control your mind without controlling. That's the trick of it. Because you accept and not egotistically approaching, but listening to your heart or body or the situation so that you have a way to respond, like animals, if you may use that as an idea. So to catch prey, you have to practice, and the kids learn watching parents and the different situation, and they practice, or bird flying, different way, and get better and better so that you can escape from the problem or catch some prey so that you can live better. So our life is like that. And that pattern, or kata in Japanese, we want to learn. And if I just focus on how to live and use meditation as a case, you may meditate. Sometimes some may close your eyes, or some are half open, whatever the case is, and may focus on breathing or inner body sensation, or some may focus on light, the sound. There are many ways to do it, but each of them have certain benefit, pros and cons. You can assume, and depending upon your inclination and the skill levels, you may be established much quicker, slower. So it's kind of like climbing up the mountain. There are different valleys and hills, and you have to develop a strategy depending upon your skills, and therefore different sect in religion may be seen as that. So when you can efficiently combine different patterns and be able to internalize it and looking at the situation like a surfing, the wave coming this way or starting to break, or what a kind of shape, and how you would be able to see the way of riding the wave. So that's part of the reason why I say life can be seen as riding the wave of ocean when the universe is manifesting its way in various ways, and depending upon how we navigate without getting caught up in the mind. That's one of the point of meditation. You can have a calm and quiet mind, and because of the patterns and experiences in different situations, we can navigate better. So on one end, you can develop different skills, different patterns. There's a Soto Zen or Rinzai Zen and various others, or chanting or praying and various ways. In my case, I started one and moved to this or that, but have the understanding of the core process and be able to have different patterns so that you can synthesize those to make it work when you live your life. So Hakuin is the one who mentioned that there is a static way of learning, Seichu no Kufu, how to learn skill under the controlled setting. There's a dynamic way of how to learn the skill, which is like within the framework of how we really live life. In the case of surfing, if it's already the same wave, it's much easier, but the surfing is a difficult process because you cannot control easily, so that's one of the more difficult one. But life is kind of like that you have all sorts of environment and stimuli. And if you can think about the swordsmanship, samurai, not just you're learning how you control your skill, but you have to adjust to the opponent's skill coming at you. So the human relationship, it's not that simple. And mind moves, and depending upon your state of mind, and even affected by the hormone or blood pressure, or whether you drank coffee or not. That's why some people say that there's no free will. There's certain conditioned way, or even DNA affecting from ancestors to ancestors within this nation, that nation. Some are more in the forest, ocean, or desert. Certain environment, certain pattern, more prevalent. So if you move from one nation to the other, or one condition to the other, that makes it more difficult. So that makes the life, you can call it interesting, but more difficult. So the point I'm trying to share is that the static pattern that we learn need to be processed in the way that you can respond to the specific need of the situation. And for that, whether you're in a static or dynamic situation, my mind has to be always calm and quiet. That's a trick. And rooted, connecting to the heart, not just caught up in the mind. And that's how, whether it's samurai or investment or living or relationship, dynamic condition. And you are changing, the opponent is changing, the environment is changing. That make it quite interesting. to say the least. And you may find it very disgusting or upset, but let's take it as a way of we learn. And the point here is that just to remember that, so that you can address the situation better. That's dynamic way, not just a static pattern, but being able to combine. So percentage improvement over time, different setting would make it better, skilled person to live life. Thank you.